Parents spend their entire existence trying to better the lives of their kids. Nothing can ever live up to all parents do for us, but we tried to do a little something. My parents had always wanted to go to Ireland, and Kev and I were fortunate enough to surprise them with a bucket list trip on Christmas morning. Some might call us generous, while others might call us insane. But 2 crossings of the Atlantic, 1 rental car, 5 cities, 1 too many buttery nipples, and 10 days later, and I'm proud to say we survived a family vacation to Ireland.
Okay. All right, here's your guys' first one.
Oh, look how cute. Okay, these 2 cut it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh! It's an old-fashioned Morocco coat. Oh, I love it.
Oh, she says,
Nice.
Thank you.
Carlo and Rhonda, I can't begin to express my gratitude towards both of you for going on a trip. Get those passports ready. Oh, Amato, Eassa, Ireland, 2024. Oh my God! Did you know? No.
Our adventure began with my brother taking us all to the airport. We showed my parents one of our favorite lounges in the world, one we go to all the time. Then we took a short flight to Atlanta, hopped on the train to our next gate, and then had a red-eye flight direct to Dublin. And just before boarding our second flight, my dad made friends with the pilot and thought it'd be funny to try and skip the entire line. He's a prankster.
Hey, another scam job.
What'd you do?
We got on the airplane before anybody else. The captain invited us.
Cheers.
Once we landed in Dublin, we made our way to the rental car. It was a long journey to get here, but our plan was to hit the ground running. Our first accommodation of the trip was in Kinsale, a 3-hour drive from the airport. This is where the Wild Atlantic Way drive begins. Because of the time change and how tired we were, we planned to have a few stops along the way to break up the drive. Our first stop on the way was Barack Obama Plaza, which felt super random and just funny that he has a gas station dedicated to him in the middle of nowhere, Ireland.
Our next stop was in the small town of Cahir, and more specifically, Cork Castle. This was a random stop that we found on Google Maps, but it was right on the way, and it ended up being such a cool stop, a castle right over the river along the town's main street.
Before getting to Kinsale, we had one more stop of the day, Nohoval Cove. This is a scenic and lesser-known area right on the ocean with beautiful jagged cliffs. But by the time we left here, we were all exhausted and ready for the hotel. Our first hotel on the trip was Acton's Hotel, right on the water, just a few minutes walk from Kinsale's main street. Once we got settled, we had dinner and then went straight to bed. Are you excited for the castle?
I'm excited about everything. Yes.
After a long first day, on day 2 we started off the morning with Black Rock Castle Observatory, after a surprisingly good night of sleep. The observatory itself was closed, but the castle itself was right on the water and is beautiful, and even when the observatory is closed, you can visit it and just explore the castle. So this was an awesome first stop.
Then we carried on to Cove. This is a beautiful town that I don't think many tourists stop at, but it is known for the beautiful St. Colman's Cathedral and the famous deck of cards, which is a street in Cove where the houses are aligned perfectly down a hill that leads to the water, and it makes for some incredible photo ops.
After the day's outings, we got back to the hotel for a second night in Kinsale. The plan for the rest of the trip was to road trip the Wild Atlantic Way all the way up to Galway, exploring all of the beautiful landscapes Southwest Ireland has to offer. Then once we arrive in Galway, the city portion of our trip would begin as we explore Galway and Dublin. Throughout the trip, we would have 5 different hotels, so it was a fast-paced trip to say the least.
What do you think of Kinsale?
I just love Kinsale. I like to move here and retire when I finally get to go do it.
Here we are looking at the Battle of Kinsale. Hey! How cute! Oh!
We are packing up our room in Kinsale. We've had 2 nights here at Acton's Hotel. Today it's rainy and cloudy. We're heading to Baltimore and Mizen Head. Mizen Head is like one of my favorite places in Ireland. So we'll have about 4 hours of driving in total, and then we'll check into Bantry later tonight. Sounds like someone's cranky in the room next door, so.
Shocking.
Looking fresh. Looking good, huh?
The Baltimore Beacon is a white painted stone beacon high above the channel between mainland Ireland and Sherkin Island. This is a beautiful landmark, and you get stunning views in every single direction for just a 5 to 10 minute walk from the parking lot.
Three musketeers are marching down the road, going to Ireland's Cove.
Our next stop takes us to the most southwesterly point of mainland Ireland and one of our favorite places in the whole country, Mizen Head. Mizen Head is a timeless beacon of Ireland's coastal heritage, and it is known for its dramatic cliffs and bridge over the cliffs. You can walk to a handful of different viewpoints, making this a place that could easily fill half a day, and the entrance fee is less than 10 euros per person, so it's absolutely worth it. We gave my dad a selfie stick and a 360 camera, and then he kept telling people that he was there filming for National Geographic.
National Geographic.
All right, this is very cool. As of now, everyone has gotten along all day today. This was sweet. The family enjoyed it.
How's it been bringing your parents to Ireland so far?
It's been fine. It's pretty much Carlo and Rhonda in Europe. Same old stuff, but in a beautiful place, so that's a win. So, how is that? Just flying the drone?
Lovely.
And my dad is up there. Wave, hi.
We're in Bantry right now, and sunset was awesome. Crazy light, which doesn't happen in Ireland too much. It's typically rainy and cloudy and gray. Beautiful, awesome shots.
Look at this beautiful view in front of us. It is stunning out.
Once we left Bantry, our next town was Killarney, but we had a few stops along the way. The first stop was Kaja Pass, which is 1,049 feet above sea level. Bri's dad wanted some videos of him, so we found a nice lounging rock for him so we could fly the drone above him.
You were droning my dad over there. He's relaxing up on the rock. Oh my god. Then as we carried on, we stopped at Molly Gallopin's, which is right off the side of the road on the pass. This is a 200-year-old family-run cottage and farm. It was so beautiful. We got a bunch of locally made souvenirs here as well, and we also hung out with their little donkeys.
Rocks from Ireland. Tell Bri what you just got. I got rocks from Ireland.
Nice.
Then the main part of our day began, Killarney National Park. We stopped at overlooks, we enjoyed lakeside views, hiked to Torque Waterfall, and then explored Muckross House and Ross Castle. It was one of our shortest driving days of the entire trip, but there were so many stops, it was action-packed and actually felt like one of our longest days.
To the next destination. Today is the biggest day of the trip, and we picked last night, Saturday night, to go out to the pubs along with all the bachelorette parties and bachelor parties. So after that night out, we managed to come back to life, roll into the car, and then the biggest day of our trip began. Have you ever been on a boat ferry?
Never been on a ferry.
Are you excited?
I'm excited.
Our drive today would be more than 5 hours, so this was a huge day of the trip, and having an impromptu pub crawl the night before probably wasn't the best idea. I was definitely feeling my stomach on those Irish windy roads. This is another one of the most beautiful destinations in Ireland, and they are just as jaw-dropping as the cliffs of Moher, if not more beautiful. But they're much lesser known, so we pretty much had them all to ourselves. It was pouring rain with strong winds, so it ended up being a quick stop.
Yes, we're attending the most scenic place in Ireland and the most famous place in Ireland, the Cliffs at Moher. Good afternoon.
After the Kilkee Cliffs, of course we had to head to the Cliffs of Moher, which is the most famous place in the country. They are incredible, don't get me wrong, but the crowds are insane, which is why I personally prefer the Kilkee Cliffs that we visited prior to this. Nonetheless, it's a stop that everyone should make if you come to Ireland. Then as we continued on to Galway from the Cliffs of Moher, we had quick roadside stops at Donegal Castle and Dunguair Castle before making our way to our accommodation in Galway.
Once we got to Galway, we had 2 nights at our hotel here, which was much needed after the long day we had yesterday. We took it easy and just explored the city. This was the point of the trip where the outdoor landscapes and seaside cliff portions were behind us and the city exploring began.
We checked out of our hotel in Galway and headed to Dublin. We had roughly a 2.5-hour drive, and to break this up, we stopped at Belvedere Castle. We got there and some of the castle was closed and it was absolutely dumping rain, but I looked at Bri, she smiled and she said, well, you still want to go in? Let's do it. And somehow she found umbrellas, and then we went and explored this in the pouring down rain.
If there's something we've learned throughout our travels over the years, it's that you may not ever be back here again, so when in doubt, just do it.
make yourself right at home.
Oh, yeah, I got my little organization right here, see?
We had 2 nights at our Dublin hotel, and most of our time was just spent walking around downtown, exploring Temple Bar and Dublin Castle. My dad loved Temple Bar and ended up doing shots with a nice man who offered him his seat. We enjoyed walking the streets and exploring the best downtown had to offer. Then we headed to the Guinness Factory for our last adventure of the trip, and even though none of us are really big beer drinkers, the experience at Guinness was so cool and unique, we all loved it.
It's amazingly beautiful. I never knew that Ireland was such a beautiful country. I wish I had came here earlier in my life. Thanks to you and Brianna, Kevin. Rhonda and I are indebted to you. So let's go have a little Blarney Castle.
Let's go
drink.
Let's go chug some booze.
Oh yeah. How about some Red Boob?
He's talking about a whiskey called Red Breast whiskey that he liked the name of.
Oh, I can change it to Red Boob.
And that wraps up our 10 days in Ireland with the Amatos. I never thought my blood could boil so much and I could have so much anxiety and stress taking my fiance's parents to another country. But at the end of the day, I'm so glad that we did it. This was the experience of a lifetime and a trip that none of us will ever forget.